Welcome to the Spoiler Zone. This week I'm covering Haywire, The Grey, and The Help. Stick around, you just might learn something. Spoilers. Okay, so Haywire. If I describe this movie to you, you might think it's a little bit like something like Drive, a very ordinary story told in an unconventional way. Except Drive was told in a good way. The problem with Haywire is that I didn't feel like there was much action. I didn't feel like there was much espionage. I didn't feel like there was a lot to it, really. It seemed as though things were just kind of looked over. Like, suppose you hired a chick to rescue a guy who's you're actually hiring to kidnap. And then she kills him. That's the story you're going with? We're going to set her up to kill him like a week or two later in a different location. She runs across him and it's like, oh hey, I remember rescuing you. Time to die. So that's a huge problem for me. I didn't think there was anything wrong with Gina Carano. Maybe her character wasn't written very well. Maybe that's the situation. The Grey, pretty cool. I do have some problems with it though. Okay, suppose your plane goes down, and like in modern times, we know now that there's a possibility that there could be a gun in the cockpit. We don't know beforehand when we're on the plane if the pilots are packing heat, but it's a possibility. So if your plane goes down and you're being attacked by wolves, you might want to look for a gun. You may have somebody mention it. You know, those are pretty good at killing wolves. You could probably use some metal from all the wreckage to make a bunch of really cool knives and swords almost, spears, whatever. Like, I think that stuff would help. I think maybe climbing trees could help. So, yeah, that's a little messed up. At the very beginning, I thought that the movie looked like it was shot on video, but I didn't see any kind of credits at the end mentioning red, so I thought that was particularly strange. And I have to say that it's a little weird how everybody's like a human shield for Liam Neeson. Apparently he's like some kind of Chuck Norris, but taller now. I mean, he's like almost an action film star where he doesn't age. Like, we don't say, oh, hey, why are we listening to this old guy? You know, Sylvester Stallone shows up, we have to have a bunch of jokes about being old. I didn't hear anything about Liam Neeson being old. So, that's fairly unique. I liked that movie. And something that really upset me at the end there was, I thought we were being Inceptioned. So, we're going through this story, and we're like, okay, so what's with these wife flashbacks? And, oh, so maybe she was dying of cancer. So, she was dying. That's why she left him, being dead. What's after this? Is he going to get killed by the wolf? Okay, he's gearing up, he's getting his prep time. It's like, you know, people talk about Batman. Well, if Batman had infinite prep time, what would he do against Superman? The wolf gave him prep time, which is kind of weird. And these are CGI wolves that actually look pretty good in a movie that appears to have a low budget, which doesn't. So that's also something kind of strange. But, they start the fight, and then it goes to credits, and everybody leaves the theater. And what do I tell you? You stick around through the credits out of respect, to say the least. I do it because I want to see at the end whether or not it was shot on film or video or something. So, I mean, that's something to consider, or even the locations. So I can talk about, hey, it's filmed outside Vancouver, as I did. And then they have this scene at the end, and here's how I read it. He kills the wolf, and he's just kind of tired and he's laying by it, okay? Because the wolf's not going to let him die on top of him. And in that case, I think that the other wolves would have attacked. But if you killed the alpha, then they leave. So I don't think that the wolf, with its heart beating still, breathing as we saw at the beginning, so there was a little bit of foreshadowing how that came incorporated to the end. So ultimately, Otway kills the alpha, and the others leave, so he survives, or at least he survives that much. So I thought that was cool. If Inception ended in a way that wasn't just cheap, a cop-out as it did, then I would have maybe gave it more stars, or at least another half. The Help. Problem with this movie is almost everything. Emma Stone comes from the future. She is politically correct in all the ways that you could expect someone to be today, other than she smokes. It's so bizarre for her to be in this movie, and she's it's like almost like Indiana Jones. You have to have a white guy come in and save the Indian children. I mean, I know a lot of people don't see Indiana Jones that way, because it actually seems deeper than this movie, where it's just hitting you over the head over and over and over and over with this message about race. Oh, and there's so many little things that maybe people didn't pick up on. Like, you got Abilene coming around with the drinks, and she's making the rounds, and the only one that says, like, thank you is Emma Stone. Or Emma Stone's applying for the job at the paper, and she's like, yeah, well, I got a reference letter from Miss Stein, and the guy's like, Stein? Like, oh no, we can't have any Jews up around here. So, yeah, there's all these weird messages. Like, do you want to see a movie like Crash, where everybody has a race issue for no reason in modern times? It doesn't work. This, taking place in the 60s, in Mississippi, yeah, I can understand that, but is this a message that we still need? I think it's outdated. I don't see a lot of employers going around mistreating minorities. Like this was something that we needed to let them know. Yeah, all you guys owning the homes up in there, if you have black help, you better start treating them well. I can't think of a lot of circumstances for that. I thought that the movie would have been a whole lot better if it was about Jessica Chastain's character, Celia. She was like Forrest Gump. Like, she was naive in a way that it wasn't like she was forcing issues on people. She could have been brought into the situation. We could have seen it through her eyes, maybe, and maybe she could have empowered Abilene and Minnie to write their own book, and then maybe she was the one that ultimately got published, or who knows. Like, that would have been more compelling to me. I would have had more fun with that. I wouldn't have had to look and listen to Emma Stone and her smoker voice. So, there you go. That's The Help. Not quite sure what I'm doing next. I think that you guys may want me to review Final Fantasy 13 too. That's what I think. And if I do, it's going to be explosive. And that's all I got to say about that.